Welcome back to OpenLine. We're talking about a business a lot of people don't talk about, but it affects a whole bunch of people. And we have with us a veteran of the repo industry, Ray Crocker. He's been before the legislature saying this is an industry that needs more regulation, it needs more oversight. And he knows because he's on the inside of it, he's done it for many years. What are some things, what are some of the rights, I guess, that people that are getting repoed have, and things that people who are doing repos often kind of go too far? What are some of the things that happen?
Well, I'm sure everybody's seen Operation Repo in California.
This TV show,
and
reality
TV shows. Well, you know, the odd thing about that is I checked with the California Association of Repossessors, and nobody knows who that company is. Now, Lizard Lick down in the Carolinas, that is a repo company. They do that, but they'll tell you in a heartbeat, all that stuff is made up. That's their friends that's putting all the actors and all this. But the thing is, there's companies out there that think they're supposed to strong arm, supposed to do this. I mean, when you did your show, you had a guy on there that pulled a woman out of her car.
Right.
You can't grab anybody physically. That's assault and battery. You know, and you can't take the car under protest. If they tell you to put the car down, even if it's in the front street and you got on top of a rollback record, you haven't cleared the area, if they say put it down, you have to put it down. That is the law. So if you got, you know, once you clear the area, say you have a quick truck, a snatch truck as we call them, you pick it up and you get away, you're down the street and out of sight. If they come by and see you, it's too late. It's your car. If you're in possession of the vehicle, which is what the legislature should have voted for, in other words, if we have possession of it in front of the house now, it's a repo. But that's not the law in Tennessee. That's the law in California, that's the law in Illinois, and that's the law in Florida. As
a reporter, if I go up to someone's house and knock on the door and say, can we talk to you? And they say, leave, get off my property. I have to leave.
We do too.
But you don't always see that happening. Certainly in those repo shows, and I know you look through lawsuits.
Well, you try to talk to them about, you know, the situation they're in and why they need to turn it in, because it could cost them a whole lot more money if they don't turn it in. I mean, if they do have to go get what's called a replevin warrant, that the finance company has to put up a bond double the value of the vehicle. And then they have to have legal counsel, and then they have to have court costs and filing fees, and all this is passed on to the debtor. That's part of those collection costs that we were talking about.
The story I did, there was a woman, her car was repossessed. It turned out she was up to date, but her car was repossessed. She was trying to get the baby seat out of her car, and she found that she was being dragged down her driveway. They had put it up on the tow truck, and they dragged her and the car down the road. When you hear stuff like that, what do you think?
Well, that's a wrongful repossession. She has every right to come at them legally. For the damages they caused to her, the fact that they took it under protest is against the law.
So she calls the police, and a lot of times the police say, well, it's a civil matter, right?
That's what happened up in Clarksville not long ago.
Yeah, what's that story? What happened there?
The repossessor followed this lady and her husband. They went to Kinko's or someplace, and they pulled in, and the man gets out to go into the business. Well, when he's out, the repossessor backs his tow truck under the back end of the car and picks it up. The guy, and they go around and tell the lady to get out, and she says, no, I'm not getting out, put my car down.
So the guy got out of the car to go in the business. The woman stayed in the car?
The lady stayed in the car.
And they went and picked it up?
They picked up the back end of the car.
With her in it?
Yes.
Okay.
And then they told her to get out, and she refused to get out. Well, the police were called. And this is where the training comes in for the police department. They come out there and they said, this is a civil matter and we can't get involved. And they leave. This woman stays in her car for 5 hours. When she's not in it, when she has to go to the restroom, whatever, her husband's sitting in it. So finally, and I talked to the guy, the repo person on it, he said, I said, well, what did your boss do? He said, to stay with it. Well, that tells me his boss don't know the law. His boss don't know the law. And they finally gave up and gave him the car.
What should they have done?
They should have left. When they told them to put the car down, they should have left. You know, it's not worth the litigation and the lawsuits that will follow.
And they're lucky nobody got hurt there.
They're very lucky.
But in this story I did, there are people, there are chases where the person gets in the car, drives away, the repo person chases them.
Right.
And there's a fatal accident.
Correct.
That was several years ago, I think in Overton County or something. But
well, I talked about the gentleman that retired, and that he was telling them to put my car down. I got the title in my hand. The repossessor doesn't put it down, and the guy's running, please put my car down. I got my first retirement check today, and I paid it off. He didn't put it down. The guy turns, walks to his house, and falls over dead with a heart attack. And you know, there's no need for it. Stop means stop. You know.
So how many of those? It's interesting you say you're a part salesperson, because you would have to convince somebody, okay, it's best for you to give up your car here. But how often would you go somewhere and then they say leave, or they say I don't care about, it's going to cost me money, get out of here, or they threaten you or something? How often do you go without the car?
You know, you have to leave, okay? And then there's nothing saying that you can't come back in the middle of the night and get that car.
Right.
Or you can't follow them to work, or not follow them to find out where they work and take it there. You just can't do it then. So, you know, take it from a place of employment. We've had a lot of weird situations on hunting down people in cars, you know, or different types of collateral.
So how many repo companies are there in Nashville?
In Nashville, let's put it this way. Repo companies that are a member of a trade association that know what they're doing, probably 4. How many companies doing it? Probably 15, 20, you know. They either work for a car lot. You know, a lot of these guys might have been a cleanup guy for Bill's buy here, pay here. And Bill tells them, hey, old Charlie didn't pay this week. Go down and take that record down there and go get that car. And he comes back and gives him an extra $50. Now a new repo man's just been born. You know, I got $50 that this guy give me $100. So no training, no knowledge of the law, but they're a repo man now. So
in those 3 states, you said there are 3 states where there is oversight. What are those 3 states? They're
California,
Illinois,
Illinois, and Florida. Florida was the first, California was second, and Illinois started regulating repossessions about 3 years ago.
Do you think it will happen ever in Tennessee? Do you think we'll ever have it?
I would like to see it. One, it's going to keep, they're going to have the training, they're going to have the background, the insurance, the bond, and so on. You know, these people have to be bonded. And a bond will cover what an insurance policy won't. In other words, the insurance is going to cover for towing the vehicle, for storing the vehicle, for wrongful repossession claims, and that type of deal. But say this guy's got a computer in the car and it's not there, or he's got his checkbook and it's no longer there. A bond will cover only what an insurance company won't cover, which would be theft of securities and money. So you have to have both. And you don't know what's in that car when you pick it up, you know.
Right.
I mean, we have a warehouse full of personal property that we have to hold. We hold it 90 days before we dispose of it.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about cars, but it's all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, it's, I've repossessed bulldozers, excavators, Prevost buses like the country music stars ride around in. Just about anything you can name, I probably picked it up.
I opened this story a few years ago. As the economy gets worse, their business gets better. So where are we now? How is the economy? Well, is there a lot of repossessing that's going on? Again, this is one of those things we just don't talk much about, but what's going on now? Where are we?
When the banks were bailed out, when the banks got bailed out, they quit loaning money to marginal credit risk. And that's where we make our living, basically on people that's marginal, that live from paycheck to paycheck. And if something happens to that paycheck, or if they have that family tragedy, a death or illness or something like that, and they get behind, you know. Or you have the professional deadbeat who's not going to pay no matter what, and you have to go get him, you have to find him. And those are the tough ones, the ones you have to go find.
Mm-hmm. And is there a lot right now? So you're saying there's less now?
Oh, the repossession business has picked up since the economy has picked up. When the economy's good, we're busy. When it's bad, things are tight.
When the economy's, I said when the economy gets worse, business gets better. You're saying when the economy gets better, business gets better. Oh, yes,
better's booming then.
And why is that?
Well, the lien holders, the banks, they'll take a bigger chance with their money because they're making more money on the other end. And you have these subprime companies that they make a living off of subpar credit. Their interest rates are a whole lot higher, you know, that type of deal, but they take a bigger chance with their money.
Okay. Now, how much of your job is finding people? How often is it that the bank or whomever will call you and say, all right, this is where, you know, so-and-so is, you know, just go and get this piece of property. How often is that? And then how often is it, we have no idea where this guy is, can you please find and help us?
Well, most of the time they don't tell us, they don't know where they're at. We have to tell them they're not here. And then we do charge for skip tracing. We have databases that we subscribe to that gives us a history on the person, more information you want to know, let's put it that way. We use those daily. I mean, it's very important to our work to be able to find out where this guy's been living in the last 8 years. If he's been living in, well, like one guy we had in a city down in southern Tennessee, well, he gave a bad check, large bad check for a car and took off. Mm-hmm. So I tracked him to Columbus, Ohio. Well, car's not there. We knew he was there, but the car wasn't. Another vehicle shows up, well, we check that guy's address. A lot of times these guys will swap cars with people, you know. So now we tracked him to Seattle, Washington. Still don't have the car, though. We don't know what he's done with it. We're still looking for it, you know.
Still? All right, we're going to take a break. Then I want to come back, and we're just going to go through some stories that you've amassed over 25 years. A guy in the mafia, can you talk about that?
Yeah.
A guy in the mafia, Casper the disappearing con man. So this guy's been on Montel Williams.
Yeah.
All right, see, that'll be interesting. What was going on with those cases? All right, we'll take a break. If you want to call in, there's the number, 615-737-PLUS, 615-737-7587. Take a break. Be back right after this.